He's like Jonah. And so I packed my bags and came to do it. Somebody ought to say amen. Amen. And so I lost contact with Martin Luther King for a while. I fought the medical school fight in Newark. I stopped the highway with the help of my friends. I fought for housing in the context of an evolution of the movement called Black Power. I learned how to be an organizer, and I tried to do the work God intended me to do. One day in April 1968, I heard that King was coming to speak in Newark. By then, I was too far away from King and his organization, the SCLC. I considered myself to be revolutionary. I had no patience for King's words or his seemingly simple concept of justice. I didn't go to see him, choosing not to be among all those people. Some of the folks I worked with, some of the folks I was working against. All of them trying to get in the picture, trying to look like they were important. I had more important things to do, like organizing people to take control of the city, working the bars, working in the streets of Newark Central Ward. But within a few days, I regretted the choice I made. It was there, early in April of 1968, that I heard the news that the forces of evil had conspired successfully to kill Martin Luther King Jr. They had put out his light so that it could no longer shine. We may not have walked the same walk or talked the same talk, but we were on the same page when it came to that issue of justice. With his death, I felt a fury and rage I fought hard to contain, but others didn't, and so Newark and 500 cities across America once again resounded with the cry, "Burn, baby, burn." The death of Martin Luther King Jr. sparked more riots in any 1 or 2 day period than any other single event in the history of this country. And I found myself looking down the wrong end of an automatic shotgun for the second time, thank you, in my young life, pointed at me by a scared, young, white cop as I was just trying to get home to lick my wounds and cry my tears alone. With his death, and upon my reflection, I realized I had misjudged Dr. King as a thinker and a leader. As I had grown, so had he in the last 3 years since I saw him in Montgomery. I realized I had judged him based on a turf war in one particular arena. I was bogged down with words that didn't mean anything in the long run, like revolutionary and nationalist. So what if he called himself a man of God consistently and continuously? Earlier, I told you what he missed by leaving us behind in the barricades in Montgomery. What had I missed by distancing myself from him? Listen to excerpts from the speech he made on April 4th, 1967 at the Riverside Church in New York City. Over the past 2 years, I have moved to break the betrayal of my own silence and to speak from the burnings of my own heart. Many people ask me, why are you speaking about the Vietnam War, Dr. King? Why are you joining the voices of dissent? Peace and civil rights don't mix, they say. Aren't you hurting the cause of your people? And when I hear them, I am greatly saddened, for such questions mean the inquirer has not really known me, my commitment, my call. He went on to say that clearly the path from Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, the church in Montgomery, leads to this sanctuary tonight at the Riverside Baptist Church, April 4th, 1967, about 1 year before he was killed. For people who've not read Dr. King, I ask that you read his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Unity, which was also written in 1967. In the treatment of poverty nationally, one fact stands out. There are twice as many white poor as Negro poor in the United States. Therefore, I will not dwell on the experience of poverty that derives from racial discrimination, but will discuss the poverty that affects white and Negro alike. He then talks about the various programs designed to address poverty and concludes that the best way to deal with poverty is as follows. I am now convinced that the simplest approach will prove to be the most effective. The solution to poverty is to abolish it directly by a now widely discussed measure, the guaranteed income. Whoa. Did y'all hear what I said? A guaranteed income. Hold on a minute. Now, does this sound like the Martin Luther King that we all know? The popular black preacher, probably the most prestigious preacher in America, talking about a guaranteed income? Not a job program, not a job training program, but a guaranteed income. And he said it was a widely discussed measure. It was back in that day. So what's going on here, Junius Williams? Why didn't you pay more attention? And so I did. This proposal is not a civil rights program. The program would benefit all the poor, including the 2/3 of them who are white. I hope that both Negro and white will act in coalition to effect this change, because their combined strength will be necessary to overcome the fierce opposition we must realistically anticipate. Wow. A coalition of people, black and white, joining together on economic issues to force Congress and the White House to pass a law guaranteeing income to people to wipe out poverty. I was in Newark because of the SDS call for the same thing, an interracial army of the poor to effect economic change. Why didn't I know about that, King? So what does all this message say to you? It says that King had become a very dangerous man. Coupled with his opposition to the war in Vietnam, it was clear he had to go. The more I came to know him, the more I came to appreciate Dr. Martin Luther King. I have become one of Dr. King's greatest supporters. I am happy to know the real King. Not just a man who gets us the holiday and us another opportunity to go to the mall on a Monday in January. Not just a stereotypical man of peace and love. Not just a man who gave that I have a dream speech in Washington. I don't want to hear anybody talking about Dr. King in that way. Instead, you should say to the drum major for justice. That's what he called himself. Call him a drum major for justice. Tell somebody that he was a battle axe in the time of trouble, shelter in the time of the storm. That he told God, I ain't no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody said that the road was going to be easy, but I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me now. If they ask where did he go, he went up on the rough side of the mountain. Longevity has its place, he said, but I just want to do God's will. He has allowed me to go to the mountaintop, and I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. And you be sure to tell your neighbor that he was a soldier. He was a soldier in the army of the Lord. That one day he got old and couldn't fight anymore, but he stood up and fought anyhow. Why? Because he kept his eyes on the prize, and he held on. Paul and Silas found in jail, got no money for the go that bail, and keeping your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. drummer. You hear that? That's your heartbeat. That's your imagination. Wondering just how you want to be served like Martin Luther King Jr. Hold